out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so for everyone on the left who said, no, there'll never be any lack of unity on the right, that everyone in...
What's going on, you guys? Today we have the Vanguard calling out Ana Kasparian and Cenk Uyghur's lies. The Young Turks, they've been saying that they're the home of progressives for too long. Vanguard is calling them out. Let's get into it.
Start with your tweet, Zach, from the other day, from the Vanguard account. Let's take a look.
Sometimes I just wake up on the wrong side of the bed, everybody. And whenever I do, that's when I just take to Twitter. You know, if I'm like, God damn it, I'm a little grumpy this morning. Let me just fire off a couple of bullets. I'll delete half of them. And the other one, I'll pray go viral. And, you know, it's just part of my morning routine. Some people meditate. I make a cup of coffee, take a and tweet some things that are pretty angry, you know, and this wasn't even directly aimed at Cenk. I was getting really here. Let me move this down so everybody can see. I wasn't even directly thinking about Cenk. I was thinking about the entire list of people I have going in the back of my mind who insisted that MAGA was actually going to be for the working class. The MAGA was, oh, Josh Hawley and JD Vance, they actually care about working issues, and the Democrats don't have anybody that actually is willing to stand up and fight for the working people. And this, you know, burgeoning cell in the Republican Party. Sean O'Brien sees it. That's the real place to work, with the working class. Like, you know, Glenn was all up on that fucking bandwagon for a while. Cenk was on that fucking bandwagon for a while. And it incensed me, because I was one of the, you and me, Gavin, obviously, the royal we, were out here like screaming our fucking heads off. Like, obviously that's not true. Like, go ahead, call me a shit lib. I don't care. I'm not going to be one of those dopes that falls for this stupid shit. I remember when Josh Hawley ran against coverage for people with pre-existing conditions. I remember when he ran supporting right to work. Okay, I remember all of these things about these people. Anyway, bill comes up, House of Representatives, HR bill. Is there going to be a single Republican that votes against the funding of Medicaid? No. And I can just see
didn't Thomas Massey vote against it?
Interesting. I thought that I'd read that it passed unanimously. But maybe there was one dissenter. Oh no, you're right. Thomas Massey was the single dissenter. Okay.
Yeah, but again, not to give Thomas Massey any credit, it wasn't for the reasons we would hope. It's not like he was protesting this, you know.
Oh no, for sure. So I guess it was a near unanimous. So that's interesting. Well, shout out to Thomas Massey. He is the only self-sufficient.
And of course, you know, we have Cenk Uyghur and Ana Kasparian saying that, you know, Trump would never do these Medicaid cuts, that he would never want to upset his base. And it's clear that he's still enacting Project 2025 to his own benefit. And no one is going to stop this.
Self-thinking Republican. And unfortunately, he's like evil bastard at heart. Anyway, long story short, none of them had the interest in saving Medicaid. None of them took a principled stand. And of course, Francesca chimes in. She never misses an opportunity to dunk on Cenk, just like us. She said, somebody told me this over and over and over again. Who was that? I wonder. And I want to give a special shout out to Francesca also, because I was randomly going through my own personal Instagram with some of my bartender homies that I follow, and a random, totally apolitical homie of mine put up a screenshot of a Francesca tweet. So I'm like, you're blowing up. You're getting broken into the mainstream, Francesca. Good for you.
Ooh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's always funny when you see just some like normie post a tweet or a screenshot of a tweet from someone that like we know, and they don't, but they're just like, oh, this is a good point. And you're like, yeah, it is.
Hell yeah, bro. I've seen Kyle
more good points
before.
Yeah, exactly. Kyle's tweets have, especially the beans ones, that's a lot of beans, you nasty ass bitch. That went mega viral. I think a lot of normies got that in their feed. They're probably like, who the fuck is this?
Yep. Occasionally he'll show up on r/white people Twitter, you know, and with a real mega viral upvote.
Yup. Either way, Cenk has been just falling all over himself. Cenk and Ana have been falling all over themselves, like trying to be like, see, we were right about the MAGA base. They're in revolt already. This was basically like their whole show last night was this like stupid unearned victory lap, because like Laura Ingraham barely pushed back on this one Trump official for their China policy. And she was like, yeah, I don't know if it's a great idea to just let, you know, Chinese corporations buy up massive swaths of American land. And then proceeded to basically roll over and not really push back at all anymore. But because she said that one thing, Cenk and Ana want to come out here and act like, oh, see, we were right. The MAGA base is new and improved, and they're ready to revolt because of one thing Laura Ingraham said. So again,
and for the record, Francesca Fiorentini used to work with the Young Turks before. The Young Turks have taken a massive shift, and they have been bought out by, it seems like, by the oligarchs, by the oligarchy, by Peter Thiel. They are funded by Peter Thiel, and it's clear where they're starting to stand.
Yeah, this is just a small taste of the unearned gloating that went on TYT over the last couple days. Check this out.
Look at Laura Ingraham calling out the donors, let alone everything else.
Yeah, I like it.
And what donor is she talking about? Because there is one donor that has a lot of deals with China, and his name rhymes with Tilan. So that was an interesting call out there. And so for everyone on the left who said, no, there'll never be any lack of unity on the right, that everyone in right-wing media and everyone in Trump voters will never break with him, and they'll justify every single thing he does. There's Fox News and Laura Ingraham. By the way, this is just one of like 3 stories today where they're in open rebellion.
Well, look,
right? Look at Laura Ingraham calling.
And it's funny.
For more recaps like this, like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Shout out to Francesca, who's in chat. It gets even more pitiful every day, doesn't it? As reality proves. Anna and Cenk wrong. Sure does. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they have much interest in inviting Francesca back on the show to make that point and to take that victory lap. Instead, Zach, instead of having on people like Francesca, a longtime member of the TYT family and someone whose commentary is already aging like wine, instead of inviting Francesca back on the show, let's take a look at who Cenk has in mind as a future guest. So 2 things we're doing at the Young Turks. We're asking our paying members if we should interview Steve Bannon. So far, it's 80-20. He doesn't say if that's 80 yes or 80 no. So you guys can decide for yourself, but vote if you're a member, link below. Second, we're trying to get to 2,000 new members before the end of the month to show support for independent media. So he's like, oh, don't worry. Even if in case you hate this idea, in case you think it's a terrible idea for Steve Bannon to come on the Young Turks, the guy who literally threw up a Nazi salute less than a week ago, literally Sig Heiling in public, taking after Elon Musk. Don't worry. If you are against that idea, if you think it's a bad idea, you can make your voice heard by becoming a TYT member. All you have to do is join the TYT army, and then you can vote in this stupid poll to try to convince Cenk not to have Steve Bannon on, not to platform this literal Nazi on the home of progressives, right? What a ridiculous scheme in order to get more members. And that's obviously completely disregarding the fact that this is a stupid idea. No, we don't need to understand Steve Bannon, just like how we don't need to understand Dr. Phil. These people are the enemy. They need to be defeated, not sympathized with or empathized with.
Yeah, it's almost like Anna and Cenk went to some sort of an advanced science fiction convention.
So there we have it, you guys. We have Cenk Uygur and Ana Kasparian even aligning with Steve Bannon now, which is very interesting. They are, only talking to these right-wing spokespeople. They have not spoken to the Majority Report. They have not wanted to meet with anyone. They have, as far as their audience is concerned, completely turned to the right. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.